Okay, here we are. I'm Jay Fidell. It's Friday afternoon. You know, Aloha Friday, and thank God it's Friday and all that. And today we're going to call this Community Matters, and more specifically, we're going to call it the Empowering Hour. Empower Hour.
Yeah.
Empower Hour. We're going to empower people this hour. Maile Scarpino, she is a master's candidate at Argosy University here downtown. She's also a psychology student. And she's probably doing psychology on me right now. She's checking my brain out.
Totally psychoanalyzed you already.
Ooh, I knew that. This is good. It's a good thing to do. And actually, I think people need more of it. You know, just a comment, but, you know, when I was a kid, social work and psychology, this is in Manhattan, it was everywhere. And now it's not. You know, you can't find people who actually practice in this area. And the social workers have become parole officers or something. They don't really do social work anymore.
Yep.
And the psychologists, I'm not sure what they do, but we need you to go into the field and fix our society. That's what we need you for. We want you to be making people happy or happier.
And that's what I'll hopefully be doing soon. Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, but we need to know exactly who you are in terms of, you know, where you fit in the missions around ThinkTech. So ThinkTech is about technology, it's about energy, it's about diversification of our economy, and it's about globalism. Yeah, and so what I really want to do is put you in the context, in the landscape. And the show, you know, we're talking about here is Community Matters, which means we want to know how you are helping the community. So, okay, Maile Scarpino, tell us who you are.
I'm Maile Scarpino. What's going on, guys?
That's it. Okay, bye.
I'm a doctorate student, actually, in clinical psych, and I graduated from Wazoo. I grew up playing volleyball here. Graduated from Iolani, ran track, did cross country, played volleyball for Luis Ramirez for A6. So I have a very broad athletic background. I currently am doing bodybuilding. Paradise Cup is in a week, so if anybody wants to come down.
What cup is that?
Paradise Cup. It's at
what
the
is
Sheraton.
Paradise Cup? Tell them what it is.
It's a bodybuilding competition, so there's different divisions. I'm in bikini division, and there's, you know, men's bodybuilding. It's really neat to go, and the atmosphere is completely different. It's a small knit community here. A lot of people don't know about it. We're trying to make it bigger. So I do that as well. I also work at Lululemon Athletica. We're located in Ala Moana.
What shop is that?
Lululemon.
Lululemon?
Yeah.
Lululemon. What is Lululemon?
Lululemon Athletica.
Okay, I better go there.
You
I think I'll
should.
go there right now.
You
yeah.
should.
Excuse me, I gotta go now.
We originated as a yoga brand. We've definitely branched out. You know, we have a bunch of CrossFitters and long distance runners, and we're really active in the community. And our staff, our team is great. We love to go and support runners, find out what the triathletes are doing, just make more of an awareness about what's going on in terms of like sports and athletic things like that, since we are geared towards athletic clothing. Mm-hmm. One thing that we're really known for is our no stink shirts. So they have silver woven in them.
So let me sort of reel the tapes back, my tapes anyway. So somewhere in your early life, maybe in Iolani, you decided that athletics were important to you. Sports and well, athletic things. I guess it's all kinds of athletic things. There are no boundaries here.
Right.
If it's athletic, that means anaerobic.
Yep.
Then, you know, we can do it. So you've done running, you've done bodybuilding, volleyball.
Now bodybuilding, yeah.
I mean, anything.
Yeah.
Really. Okay, and that has taken you to health.
Completely.
And I suppose it has also taken you to empowerment, because we're talking about empowering women here in the show.
Completely.
Right?
Yeah.
How about men?
We'll
Do you
talk
want to
about
empower men too?
Sure, I want to empower men too.
That's a secondary thought. The first primary thought.
First one is women.
First one is women. Okay, fair. Okay. So, and you're dedicating yourself to that.
Yeah. It's a message I want to get out there. I have a lot of women ask me, you know, what do you do? And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about health and nutrition out there. I think that there's a big misconception about lifting. You're not going to get bulky if you lift. Go lift some heavy weights. You're going to see changes in your
We're
body.
losing the pictures here. I don't want to lose the pictures. There's
Losing
pictures.
the pictures.
Yeah, so can we reel the pictures back? These are too good.
Oh,
They've been
thanks.
playing while you've been talking, and I haven't even been watching. I need to watch them. Okay, so where's the beginning? Is this the beginning yet? Okay, there's the first picture. What is that picture, Maile Scarpino?
I am doing.
That's you.
That's me.
I want to be clear.
Yeah, I'm doing a yoga pose on the beach. That was actually for a jewelry shoot that I did, and that was one of my favorite pictures because it embodies yoga as well, and yoga is really important for mind.
Is that yoga in the water?
That's yoga in the water.
Okay, all right. Where?
It was at in Kahala,
Okay.
Kahala Beach.
Okay. All right, here's one where somebody is doing chin-ups.
That's me.
The hard kind.
Yeah. So
Where your hands, where you're looking at the backs of your hands. That's the hard kind.
yeah, we climbed. Me and my manager and her new husband.
Qu'est-ce que c'est un manager? What is that?
My manager from Lululemon. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, Jewel,
okay. It's not your
Jules.
sports manager.
No.
It's your manager at Ala Moana.
Yeah,
Okay, right.
we did, because as our staff, we do this kind of stuff a lot. We get together and we try to get the community together too to go do outside activities. And so we climbed Coco Head with a 60-pound rope.
You mean you carried the rope?
We carried the rope up there, and then
why
we got
did you
up
carry
there
the rope up?
just for an
Coco
extra
Head?
challenge.
Just to carry a rope.
Just to carry a rope, and it connected us all, and it made us all stay on the same path and go together and work together. And
Like the chain gang sort of thing.
Exactly.
All connected.
And it was
So if anybody
hard.
fell down, you'd be able to.
Yep,
Is there a real risk of doing that, falling down in Coco Head?
I guess so.
I
maybe.
guess so. All right. Well,
We're ninjas.
you can never be too safe.
No.
Okay. So hiking, big thing, hiking.
Yeah.
Tell me, I'm really interested in hiking. So tell me where you have hiked in your young life.
Ooh, I've hiked Hanauma Bay, Coco Head, Monowilly Falls. What else is there? I haven't done Stairway to Heaven. I really want to do that.
Is that legal?
No.
Okay. Moving right along.
Right.
Okay. How about Neighbor Islands hiking?
No, I haven't done that.
Okay. Well, we'll consult after the show, and I'll tell you where you should
Ooh, I
hike
need
on
to
the
know.
Neighbor Islands
Yeah.
because there's some hikes there that, hiking needs people. Sounds trite, but hiking needs people to hike. If you have a trail that nobody hikes, that trail will become lost. It will be abandoned and lost. So you
Completely.
need people to keep on hiking. And regrettably, Hawaii doesn't have the hiking it used to have. Partly that's because the trailheads have become closed. And they become closed because it's a legal risk for the private landowner to allow people to cross his land
Right.
in order to get to the hiking trails. It's very regrettable. And we need to open them, and we need to take these hikes. Sierra Club, Hawaii Trail and Mountain Club, all that. So those are all possibilities
Completely
for you.
agree. Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So talk about the bodybuilding for a minute.
The bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I
You
train.
don't look bulked up.
Ooh, I
No,
got
you
some guns.
look strong, but not bulked up.
Yeah.
You
Not bulked up.
suggested earlier that.
I lift heavy weights, but my diet's really good, so I don't get bulky. I get nice and toned, and that comes from, I shred my muscle fiber, it rebuilds, and I get muscle.
How do you
and-
what do you do? What? Muscle fiber?
Well,
What is
when
that?
you lift heavy,
You get it in a jar, muscle fiber?
yeah,
Okay.
and I just.
Amazing how that
just
goes,
joking.
yeah.
When you lift heavy, it helps break down your muscle fibers, and then they regrow. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism is. Higher metabolism is, the more you burn. So I think that's something a lot of women don't really know. They don't really pay attention to
Is
that.
there a difference? I'll start by saying vive la différence. But is there a difference between the way, men and women metabolize, between the way this thing about muscle fiber works? Is there a difference between men and women?
Of course there's going to be a difference. Our hormones are different. So women have estrogen, men have testosterone. So some people, in general, the theory is that men have an easier time burning and gaining muscle mass than women.
So if they burn, then they redevelop the muscle mass, and thus
If
they
they
become
break it down.
stronger. If
Yeah,
they break it down.
yeah.
But women have the same process, just slower, is that it?
Women, because of your estrogen, it's harder to build muscle. Women also, when they get overtrained, they can get high levels of cortisol, and cortisol.
What is cortisol?
Cortisol is another hormone that occurs in your body when you get stressed, and what that does is it makes it hard to burn fat.
Which means they get fat.
Which means you'll hold on to fat easier, and you'll retain
in lieu
water.
Of muscle.
Right, you'll retain water. In addition, I think eating habits play into the way women are able to create their physique, because you see a lot of society has made this whole idea that we're not supposed to eat as women, and you're supposed to be thin, and da 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 da, and that's not the truth. If you don't eat, your leptin levels go down, and when your leptin levels go down...
What level?
Leptin levels. So that's another...
It.
Leptin, L-E-P...
L-E-P-T-I-N, leptin.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm dyslexic. I'm a horrible speller.
Okay.
But when those levels go down, you get out of your fat-burning ability, and you just start storing. So in bodybuilding, you see that a lot. You'll do a low-carb cycle, and then you'll have a cheat meal, and that cheat meal is to bring your leptin levels back up to normal so that you continue to burn fat.
Aren't you managing Mother Nature here? I mean, if Mother Nature wanted women to be svelte and strong, wouldn't Mother Nature have made them that way?
Not necessarily.
You're trying to change the way things work, in sort of, physically, physiologically. I mean, you're telling me all these things, that women have these certain characteristics and chemistry, and you're resisting that.
But we've gotten away...
Why not just lay back and enjoy it?
We've gotten away from the way the body actually works, like, due to society's view of health and nutrition, and the way we eat, and the quantities that we eat. And, for example, fat, we're such a fat-phobic country, and that's not... Fat's a great thing. You have myelin sheaths in your brain that you need in order to...
What's in the brain?
You have myelin sheaths.
Myelin sheaths.
Myelin sheaths. So
I hope you're making notes on this. This is not easy. We're talking about a PhD candidate who lives in this world and lives in these symbols. So, having a pen and pencil in front of you would be helpful, because that way you'll do better on the test, which we're giving at the end of this show. Sorry, Maile, go ahead.
No, so those sheets are made out of fats, and in order to fire, you need those fats. And so your brain runs on fats, and you need fats, and we have this idea that fat in your diet isn't a good idea, but it's really important to your ability to survive and function. And you look, let's take yogurt for example. They make non-fat yogurts, but then you look at the sugar content, and the sugar content is so high. When you eat that, your insulin levels increase, and you end up storing that as fat regardless.
And then you go to diabetic.
You can, eventually, if you continue to do that.
Yeah, trouble in River City.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I mean, I need to digest all of that, and I want to come back after this short break, and I want to ask you, about your diet, okay, and whether your diet and my diet should be the same or different diets, and I'm going to learn. I am learning, and I am taking notes,
Cool.
Maile Scarpino, a graduate student at Argosy University, also a budding psychologist, who's psychoanalyzing me right now during this show. And the show, if you didn't know, is Community Matters, the Empower Hour. We'll be right back.
Mahalo for watching ThinkTech Hawaii. We are a channel dedicated to raising public awareness about the importance of technology, energy, diversification, and globalism to the future of Hawaii. We broadcast and stream daily from 1 to 5 every weekday, and we broadcast on Olelo 54 and OC16 TV. All of our shows are archived on thinktechhawaii.com, and we hope to see you there. Aloha.
Maile, wave, so they can all see you. Okay.
Hi.
It's Maile Scarpino, and she's a graduate student at Argosy University, and she's psychoanalyzing me because she's a psychologist. This is the Empower Hour on Community Matters, one of the ThinkTech series. So, I wasn't kidding. I want to know what you eat. You made this passing reference, and you slipped right off that, and we got to bring you back. What is your diet like, Maile?
What is my diet like? Well, it really depends what phase I'm in for training. If I'm going to be in a bulking phase, of course, my carbs are going to be high. I function on macros.
You're in an athletic diet.
It's
not an ordinary student diet.
Right, exactly.
And it does not include any potato chips, French fries,
no,
hamburger,
No.
Or buns?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Maybe after my show, I'll have a treat, and it will be really
Okay.
exciting. But I function on macros, so I concentrate on my protein, my carbohydrate, and my fat intake. And every meal that I have, I eat 5 meals a day, and that's all portioned out. So
5 meals a day?
I eat 5 small meals a day.
How small is small?
The closer I get to prep, the smaller it's going to get. But so, for example, maybe I'll have like a fourth a cup of oatmeal with a half a cup of eggs as my first meal. My second meal will be like 4 ounces of a lean meat and 82 to 100 grams of a vegetable. And then I may do that for meal 3. And then meal 4 may be like a big salad. And then meal 5 will be like 4 ounces of white fish and a small amount of starch.
Cook this for yourself, or you go?
Yeah, I prep every Sunday. I prep all my meals, so they're all ready to go for the week.
And you leave it there, ready to go?
And I leave it.
And the refrigerator says Monday, Tuesday, and so forth?
Yeah, all lined up, ready to go. I just stick it in a bag. It makes life really easy. I don't have to think about it. It's already set.
What a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, what about vitamins? Do you take vitamins?
I do. I take vitamin C. BCAAs are branched chain amino acids. They really help for recovery in your muscles so that you can train again the next day and get rid of that soreness. Glutamine is also really good. So those are supplements, not necessarily vitamins. I take a fish oil as well.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah.
Well, okay, your life will change one of these days as you get older. But what about one of those fancy Lance Armstrong kind of vitamins?
I mean, the crazy thing is a lot of supplements, they just end up coming out in your urine. Your body can only absorb so much, and so sometimes you're paying top dollar for something and your body doesn't even really use it, and it's not the best source. The best source for vitamins is to get it through your food, to get it through your fruits and your vegetables.
What I mean is some of these bodybuilders take, what, steroids, is it? And I don't know what else. It's a whole chemistry shop.
Sure.
You don't do that.
No.
Why don't you do that? I mean, it would help you bulk up. I mean, not bulk up, but get strong. Make a muscle, by the way, could you?
Muscle.
Okay. You see that? I can't do that. All right. Oh, God. Okay. I want a freeze frame on that. Okay. Never mind. So, why don't you do that? Wouldn't it help?
Sure, it would help, but there's no point in doing that. I don't need to do that to get where I want to get. I can function off of hard work and motivation and just being proud with what I can do.
I mean, do you have a concern that any of these things that you don't take would create an addiction for you?
An addiction?
An addiction?
No.
No, they're not addicting anyway.
No.
Yeah, okay. What about caffeine? What coffee? Have coffee?
I love coffee. I'm Italian.
It's okay.
Black
Is it a
coffee
thick
every
kind
morning.
of, you know, like cappuccino coffee?
Just black.
Okay.
Just for me, black. Yeah.
You grew up in New York?
No, my dad did, so
Okay.
he started me young.
Okay. Oh, you grew up here?
Yeah, I grew up here.
I should have figured, Yolani. Yeah, I mean, in New York, and the Italian community there is fabulous, And I've often thought that I'd like to convert to Italian, but they won't let me.
You should think about it.
I mean, yeah, we can talk more about
Yeah.
that. Maybe in the second part of the show. Okay, so what other food? You have desserts?
Yeah, I have desserts. I love Arctic Zero. It's a great
What is it?
Arctic Zero. It's like a frozen yogurt, and
Yeah.
the whole pint's like 150 calories. It's lower carb. It's lower in fat. It's lower in sugar. The sugars are like natural monk fruit sugars. So it's a better bad choice, and I like making better bad choices. And I mean, I love eating junk too. I love ice cream. That's like.
It's not bad to eat ice cream. I mean, aside from the fact it's calories and.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great to eat every day. Something that's really neat is after you train or you work out, you have about an hour and a half where your glycogen stores are depleted, and you need to refill
Glycogen.
those.
Don't forget the glycogen.
So you can go and have something that's maybe not as healthy for you, like ice cream, like a Pop-Tart or something like that, and refuel your muscles.
It's okay to have sugar after the exercise.
Yeah.
How about before the exercise?
You probably don't want to do that.
Why not?
Because it just doesn't, if your goal is to lose weight or to get in better shape, having sugar before, you're coming out at zero. because you're eating something that you're just going to need to end up burning
It's the
off.
same thing about breaking the muscle down and rebuilding it, yeah? So after the exercise, presumably you've broken some muscle,
Exactly, and your body needs to repair, and
so the sugar is not
you've
bad
gotten
to
rid of
help
all
you.
the ATP out of your muscles. All that energy is gone.
ATP. What, ATP?
ATP, like the energy in your muscles.
ATP.
Yeah,
Okay. And what about protein? Protein is important to rebuild muscles too, isn't it?
it is. It is.
So why don't you have protein instead of Pop-Tarts after
You
you've
can.
exercised?
A lot of people do. A lot of people have a protein shake afterwards.
A protein shake. What?
Yep.
How do you make a protein shake?
You get a protein. I like, what do I like? I like, it's by Dynamize. It's ISO 100. So the carbs are low in that, which is good for my prep. It has 25 grams of protein.
Powder.
Yeah, and there's no sugar. You don't want things with added sugar, and I can talk about that later. I'm not big on added sugars.
Okay. Do you have a juicer? Are you into juicing?
I think I used to be a raw vegan before I did this. I was a low-fat raw vegan, and for me, it didn't really work. It didn't work for my body. That doesn't mean it's not going to work for other people. My advice with juicing is when you juice, you're taking out a lot of the fiber. And you're taking out some of the minerals and the vitamins when you juice. You're not getting the fruit or the vegetable in its full form. You're getting all the sugar.
Yeah. Okay, but suppose you have one of these juices that leaves everything in there. You know, that everything that went in there is part of the drink.
If they could do that, that'd be awesome.
They do. They have that. Yeah.
Where have you found those? I need those.
Yeah. I forget the name, but I think they have that. We'll talk.
Okay.
Offline.
I need to know.
Maybe next time we talk on the show, you know, we'll discuss this. Juicing, you know, will be, so we'll call it, you know, the Empower Hour
Of juicing?
Yeah,
Cool.
juicing. Okay, so let's talk about some more pictures. We have pictures. We have brain scan pictures. I want to see that. Pictures that you've been studying. What does this tell us?
So, these are pictures of different people. There's somebody that's eaten sugar. There's I think an alcoholic, and then somebody that's a cocaine
So what's the one on the top
user.
left? What is that?
The top left, that's a normal brain.
Okay.
And you can see on the right, this is really helpful because on the right it kind of tells you what's going on in the brain. So red, high dopamine, normal pleasure, and interest. And dopamine is what's released in your brain when you're having a pleasurable experience. So dopamine is released when you eat, when you exercise, anything that's going to make you feel good, dopamine's released. So then you see the yellow is the medium dopamine, difficulty feeling joy or pleasure, and then the green is like low to none. So basically what this diagram is showing, you see the normal brain has high dopamine, and then the brains of like a cocaine addict and an obese person or somebody using alcohol, their dopamine is really low. And the reason that occurs is because when you use a substance, your homeostasis level gets raised. It gets changed to a different level. And a lot of people think that substance abusers, the reason why they use is because they like the feeling. That's not true. It gets to a point where their homeostasis level is at a new level, so in order to feel normal and to function on a day-to-day basis and feel okay, they have to use. Because it's almost like they're having that withdrawal all the time and they feel horrible and they just want to feel normal. Research has shown that it's the same with people that eat sugar, and it's the same
Sugar is addicting.
Sugar is super addicting, and there's research that's shown it's the same, your body responds to it the same as it would taking cocaine.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I may not have any more ice cream. Oh,
No.
Then I might slip in some ice
That
cream on
doesn't
the
mean
side.
you have to completely eliminate sugar, but it's just something to be aware of.
Okay.
And
What, now, were those, whose brain was that? Was that your brain?
That was not. That
Were
was,
you in the top left-hand
that
corner?
was definitely my brain.
What?
No.
No. Okay. Where'd you get the brains from?
I found them online.
Okay. Well, let's go a little further down the road here. You know,
Okay.
you're talking about your body as a fine instrument to be developed, to be to be cared for. Everything in, is you're measuring it, you're preparing it in advance, and all the sports and the other. Okay, so the truth is, that even if you did that, you can't be sure you'll be healthy.
Right.
You know, I'm sure if I asked you now, Maile, feel healthy, you would say, I feel healthy.
Right.
Okay? Never felt healthier. And I'm healthier all the time. But the truth is that as human beings, as mammals, other things can attack us for
completely.
one reason or another. And we could, you know, develop a chronic disease anyway, you know, all that. So what's your relationship with the medical profession?
That's a hard one. My dad's a doctor.
Oh, okay,
He's an orthopedic.
All right.
He does occupational medicine
you can break
now.
bones, it doesn't matter, yeah.
The medical community, I think we have a long way that we can go, a lot that we can do. I think just handing prescriptions over isn't the best way to do things, and I think we're seeing patients in too short of a time span. I wish that doctors would kind of take more time to spend with their patients.
Prescriptions are too easy to hand over. It's pill pushing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have all those pills.
Exactly. You don't need
Not
those.
only that, but I'll add a thought. I don't know. I'm asking your opinion.
Let me hear
it. If you have all these pills, you know, a whole table full of pills that some doctor prescribed, or a number of doctors, what you don't know, and they don't know either, is the interaction of all the different drugs. And it could be at the very fringe of science, but nobody knows exactly how that cocktail of drugs is actually going to work on you.
Completely.
You know?
Completely.
And that means it's a danger, a risk that you don't know about.
Completely agree. So I'm totally for going the opposite route, figuring out what the underlying problem is rather than just trying to mask it. Because yeah, you may solve it for the time being, but it's going to reoccur and it's going to come in a different way and it's going to come in a more severe way as well.
Okay, so you have to manage your medical connection as well. It's like weightlifting or athletic activity. If you want to have the
like
best
anything
body
in
you can
life.
have.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, we'll take a short break.
Okay.
That's Maile Scarpino. She's a graduate student, a PhD graduate student at Argosy University right here downtown. And she's also a budding psychologist, and she gave me therapy throughout this whole show. That's what it's about. Thank you very much, Maile.
You're welcome.
Here on Community Matters and the Empower Hour, and we'll be right back. You'll see.
Aloha, welcome to ThinkTech Hawaii. My name is Josh Green. I'm the host of a program called Healthcare in Hawaii. I'm a physician. I work in the emergency department on the Big Island. I also serve in the state senate, which, please don't hold that against me, doesn't detract from my television program. We speak about all the big healthcare issues in the state. We get together on Tuesdays from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we try to talk about the most important issues in healthcare. This is a terrific venue for people to learn about healthcare. There are many programs on this station. We broadcast it later, not just on the internet, but also on OC16. Thanks for joining us. Please be informed healthcare consumers.
Okay, we're back. We're live. We weren't kidding. We came back. You know, like MacArthur, we returned. There you go. Maile Scarpino, a graduate student at Argosy University here downtown, also a psychologist, which gives her, you know, with all the things she does, both mind and body, very important. So what is the connection between, you know, we looked at all the brain pictures, but that doesn't really tell us about the psychology of the individual. In fact, you know, I was saying that, you know, since the old days, psychology has become less important in public health. Fewer people see psychologists. I hope a lot of them come to see you. It's a nice living, hopefully. And, you know, the reality is that, you know, our physical health and our mental health are connected. But I'll let you tell that.
Yeah. So definitely your mind and your body are one. You can't do anything unless you have the motivation and you have this intrinsic drive that you want to do it. You can't reach your goals and your aspirations if you don't physically think that you can do it, and you don't. The big thing, I practice under Dr. Bita right now. I work at the drug court with substance abusers.
The drug court?
Yeah, the Honolulu drug court.
Is there anything else? We have to ask you, you know, is there anything else? Is
No,
there anything else?
That's it for the time being.
Okay, all right.
So that's where my practicum is, and his whole theory on therapy, every psychologist has a different orientation, and his orientation is really focused on creating your own reality. You create your own reality, you determine what you can and you can't do. And so I've been toying with that a lot, and I think it's amazing. If I don't like something, I can change it just by changing the way I think.
You mean you can change the way you think? You can change your own behavior, your own behavioral mechanisms.
Yeah, or I can change the way I view things, which totally changes the whole situation and then allows me to perform in a different way.
It's not too personal. Can you give us an example of that? Where you woke up one day and said, I've been doing this kind of thing, and it's not the right thing, so I'm going to will myself to change that thing. I'm going to make a change in my brain.
Oh, completely. Like, there's days where, for example, this prep, when you're low carb and you're tired and you don't want to go and do cardio, you don't want to talk to people sometimes. I made a conscious effort to change that and to say, how lucky am I to be able to interact with all these people? How lucky am I that I have 2 legs that I can run? There are people out there that would die to be able to run and not be in a wheelchair and have that feeling. And I have that, and I want to use that, and I want to inspire other people to do that too. And it's just all what you think and the way you perceive things.
So is it that the athletics give you a better, psychological life, or is it that you need to work on your psychological life to get better athletics, or is it both?
It's both.
Yeah.
They're interconnected.
Which one's more important?
I think working on your mind, because whatever you tell your mind to do, your body will follow. That was something I learned in track. If I say my legs need to go faster, and I truly believe my legs can go faster, they'll go.
That's a really, so now we're talking for a moment about competition, about winning, about beating the other people on the field. What's your way of doing that? Here you are. You're tired. Okay, there's some really strong runners, whatnot, and you say, I want to win this. What do you say to yourself in that last lap to make it happen?
Fight. I'm a fighter.
Fight. It's aggression.
I fight till the end.
Yeah.
I'm Italian, so yeah, I'm a little aggressive.
Must be.
But and just knowing that I can do it, being positive and sending myself positive affirmations and thinking in that way and uplifting myself rather than comparing myself to the girl next to me or doubting my ability, because that doesn't get you anywhere.
Okay, let me move on a little bit to, by the way, are you going to do psychology as a career?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you going to do, bodybuilding?
I'd like to incorporate health and psychology together.
So you're going to be a health psychologist?
I'd like to be.
What we're talking about right now, that's it?
I'd love to do this, yeah.
Okay, all right. Do you think you'll have a crowd here that'll follow you? Whoops.
I know, I lost
You think you'll have a crowd that'll follow you and come and pay you money?
I would hope so.
Okay.
I think it's an area that we're lacking in.
After this show, I can assure you they'll be seeking you out, Okay, so now let's move into the area of challenges, troubles, limitations,
Definitely.
barriers. So here you are, you have defined yourself as somebody into athletics, doing the right thing in terms of eating and taking care of yourself, relating to the medical profession, doing all the right things. It's like, how many people in the world do that? It's got to be 1 in 1,000, maybe more, 1 in 10,000. Okay, so what are the limitations? What are the problems that you have to get through in order to maintain this purity, physical and mental purity, that allow you to, reach your goals?
I think it's realizing that what society has deemed as truth isn't necessarily true. That goes back to creating your own reality. What society tells us isn't necessarily how things have to be, and you don't have to eat a cheeseburger. You don't have to eat any way somebody tells you. You can eat healthy and greens, and it's okay. And I think we get tainted a little bit as children into creating these beliefs about how you're supposed to eat. And
tainted by whom?
Tainted by commercials, by advertisements, by food companies. And parenting goes into that too. So my undergrad work at Washington State, we looked at the relationships between moms and their children, and we found that autonomy promoting mothers, so mothers that allowed their children to pick how much they wanted to eat or what food they wanted to eat, the children were actually slimmer and continued to stay slimmer throughout our study than those that served their child and determined what they ate when they ate. Because when you don't allow a child to have autonomy over what they're eating, they're not able to have those internal cues, and they don't know when they're full, and they grow up and they can't tell you if they're full, and they develop this relationship where if I eat broccoli, I get ice cream. So they like the ice cream less, or they like the broccoli less, and they like the ice cream more. And then when mom and dad are gone, they're not going to eat the broccoli, they're going to eat all the ice cream. So you develop unhealthy eating habits because you've conditioned your child to do that.
Oh, this is so interesting. So what I hear you saying is, if you want to do this, what you do, what you want to do, what you are doing, then you must resist all this popular culture that you see on TV and all those ads that come at you by the hundreds every day.
Which is really hard to do.
Hard to do. And then the fast foods that are coming at you all the time, you've got to say no, and you've got to find your own groove on that.
Or you just have to find a balance. It's not necessarily that you
say maybe.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that you have to be a tyrant and be like no, but you have to find balance, and I think it's important. The most important thing is spreading awareness and spreading information, and teaching people to go look things up and to investigate and want to learn more, so they're able to educate themselves and not just rely on popular belief or what somebody's telling them. Because a lot of times what people are telling us, it's not the truth, it's hearsay.
So make me some 8-year-old kid who's barraged all day, and I'm a latchkey kid, my parents aren't home, and I'm vulnerable. I'm vulnerable to all these pop culture things that are teaching me, I mean really, pitching me the worst possible lifestyle.
Right.
How do I resist this? I mean, and let's assume there's nobody going to help me resist this, say, 8 years and 10 years and 12 and 15 and 20 and more. How do I find the strength to do what you're doing?
That's a really hard situation because this kid doesn't have the support, and he probably didn't have the parents to model a healthy eating habit. So to change those habits, it's going to take time, and it's also going to need to occur at a point where he's able to actually realize what's going on. Because you can't explain to an 8-year-old why sugar's bad. Sugar tastes good. They don't care.
If I went through the average kid's life, here, I don't know, mainland maybe the same, but his parents may or may not give him the structure. Chances are, maybe not.
Right.
His school may or may not give him the structure. Teachers they got other obligations, in terms of teaching him, and a lot of these things are simply not in the curriculum. Sorry. And his life, he is vulnerable, and all this stuff is coming at him, and he has precious little opportunity. Enter the psychologist, the clinical psychologist.
Da-da-da!
Da-da-da! I mean, somebody's got to be this kid's manager. Somebody's got to show him the way. Somebody's got to give him the rules and give him the risks. Do you think that the psychology profession could enter into our community, which is at risk about this, and fix it? And if so, how?
Completely, and I'm hoping that's like what I can do eventually. It's understanding what you're eating and what's going on in your body. It's not just here's a calorie or this has carbs in it. It's how are you eating that and it's being processed in your body so that you are cognitive of what you're doing. Because if you understand what you're doing, then you can make sense of it. But if you don't, it's really hard to fathom what's going on. And I think behaviors can be conditioned. And I think you can teach somebody over time to change habits, or maybe you eat when you're stressed. Well, let's sit with that. Why are you eating when you're stressed? What are you trying to cover up? Let's look at what you're really trying to cover up.
Make me an 8-year-old kid. You're an 8-year-old. Okay.
Okay.
Not bad. Okay. What do you say to me in order to give me the structure that I need to deal with these, really important decisions about making myself healthy through my life?
Definitely no body shaming, or
What's body shaming?
like saying, you know, you're overweight or you're fat. I don't agree with that at all. I think that taints somebody for the rest of their life. I think it's looking at the things that can be done. You know, like
So positive approach.
what kind of activities do you like to do? Okay, you like to play soccer? Let's play soccer. Let's get you involved in soccer. Or what kind of meals do you like? Okay, you like lasagna? Well, we can come up with a healthy version of lasagna.
And you can cook it.
For sure, yeah.
Tell your mother to get out of the kitchen.
Right?
Okay. Okay, it's 1-to-1 now in the privacy of your clinical office there. So, you know, how do you reach me? I mean, suppose I'm a hard case. How do you reach me? What do you say to me to make me change my way of thinking? You know, assuming it's still possible. But if I'm young, it's still possible.
It's still possible. It is hard at 8 years old because a lot of times kids, their brains haven't developed completely and their frontal lobes aren't there, so they don't really understand what's going on. But say you were really a smart kid and you really like got it, it would just be, you know, like, hey, your health is a concern, and down the road this is what could happen. Diabetes are prominent in your family, or it's a possibility. We don't want you to get there. So
Would you try to scare them?
Oh, I wouldn't try to scare them.
Not shaming. We already put that out.
No
We don't
scaring,
do
no shaming.
that. Okay.
Being truthful, but not freaking them out, because you don't want somebody to, you know, live with a fear.
Risk-benefit kind of thing. It's a risk-benefit analysis.
It is. It
you
is.
can do this, and this will happen. You do that, and that'll happen.
It is. Yeah.
Appeal to his rationality. Yeah.
Yeah. Appear to his
So it's an
rationality.
intellectual kind of approach.
Completely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that could be actually very valuable on a large scale, and I hope you do some of that on a community basis.
Me too.
And you know, that's why my next question really is, what you do. You know, we entitled this the Empower Hour. Why is this empowering, and what has it got to do with community matters? That's not an easy question, okay?
Okay. I think it's empowering because it's spreading awareness to other people. It's providing information that people may not have or may not know, and inspiring them to go look deeper and to look at themselves and to support those around them that want to get involved in exercising and eating healthy. What was the second part of the question?
Community.
Community. How is it related to community? We're going through an obesity epidemic right now, and that's scary. There's, you know, say that this generation will be the first generation to die before their parents, and that's horrible.
That's an awful
That's
thought.
horrible, and that's
Oh my
something
God.
that we can stop, and that's something that we can change. We just have to make the conscious effort, and we just have to be open-minded and support one another and make a change and be active about it.
Okay, so define for me, give me the characteristics, first, of an empowered person. What is it like to be an empowered person when you walk down the street? I mean, for example, does the concrete on the sidewalk, does it vibrate as
Completely.
It's
You can't wait
you
to
feel-
wake up
you
in the
feel power.
morning.
Watch that, yeah.
You feel like, you know, you can do anything. You want to help other people do whatever they want to do. And you're not sitting there comparing yourself to somebody else because you're happy with who you are. And you
happy
have this,
with who you are.
you have this intrinsic fulfillment and this love for yourself.
Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, what does that mean? I'm really interested in your answer to this. So I'm happy with who I am.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that, and I'm thus empowered. Okay, what kind of options does that give me that I wouldn't otherwise have?
If you weren't empowered, you mean?
If I am an empowered person.
If you're an
Empowered
empowered
by
person.
the very recipe that you're talking about. I don't know if I use the word recipe, but if I'm an empowered person and defined as such, what additional or different functionality does that give me to engage in the world with people, with my job, with everything I do, winning races, what have you?
It helps you self-actualize, I think.
Actualize.
Yeah, self-actualize.
Actualize, and this will be on the final exam.
It helps you realize your potential and experience self-growth and continue to challenge yourself. And when you're able to be happy with who you are and feel empowered, you're able to then raise the level of other people's functionability because you don't have to just concentrate on yourself anymore. So when you're able to raise, and this is like my whole theory on our existence is that we're here just to raise the energy level of the world, to help the world function at a higher level.
It's high level of energy.
Higher level of energy.
So what does it mean if the world functions? You're going to my next question. Huh? So what does it mean if we have a world that is functioning at a higher level of energy? And this has nothing to do with oil, the furthest thing. So what does it mean if we have more people who are empowered and who have that special karma of an empowered person, and thus lots of people, a whole community that is more energy, is functioning at a higher level of energy? Is it a better world, and how is it a better world?
I think completely it's a better world. I think it results in more happiness, and everybody's in search of happiness. With more happiness, there's more integration as a society, as a community, and that just helps everybody get along. And then awareness is spread more, and we're not doing this all the time.
We'll take one last break, okay? That's Maile Scarpino. She's a graduate student in psychology, and she's at Argosy University downtown here. We're talking about the Empowering Hour, the Empower Hour here on Community Matters on ThinkTech. We'll take one last break. We'll come back and we'll ask her some really important closing questions, okay? We'll be right back.
This is Alice Lee Hagan, host of ThinkTech Hawaii Business Education Spotlight. My show here at ThinkTech Hawaii is every Thursday from 3 to 4 in the afternoon. I bring in interesting guests from Hawaii, the mainland, and hopefully international guests in the future. Do join us on Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. ThinkTech Hawaii Business Education Spotlight. Aloha.
Okay, wow. Well, you've given us a terrific kind of roadmap to follow here, and maybe even some possibilities to make that roadmap come true, not only for the individual who listens and thinks about this, but to the community, which does better for it. I mean, it's a kind of nirvana, but it sounds to me like we've only touched the surface.
Mm-hmm.
So if, just suppose, we were to create a series here on ThinkTech called the Empower Hour, okay, which is very catchy, and I know the person who thought of that name.
Me too. She's awesome.
Then, what would that show be like? Can you define how that show would work? What kind of issues? We covered a lot of ground, but there must be a lot more ground to cover.
There's so much to talk about. You could talk about different sports, different types of training, different ways of eating. I mentioned that I was a raw vegan. There are different people out there in our community who are trainers or have ideas about how health works. And so it'd be great to, interview them and see what they think. And
okay, well, talk about people now. Just let your imagination fly.
Yeah.
And you were the host of this program, and you were sitting where I am. What kind of people would you have come down? I mean, give me categories.
Ooh, I'd have trainers. I know Chris Rains. He's a trainer at Fitness Rains. Awesome guy. He had an accident, and one of his arms doesn't work perfectly, but the man is amazing, and he's so motivating, and he's so in tune with everybody in there, and he wants everybody to reach their potential. So talking to him would be great. Jacqueline Geringer, my trainer under Vixen Fit, she's like my mom. She's awesome. She's somebody that empowered me and made me really get on the bandwagon for, wow, I need to empower other women. Let's see, who else? There's tons of yogis out there. There are tons of CrossFit coaches. There are, Dr. Bita, he'd be awesome to interview too.
What does he do?
He is my practicum advisor at drug court. And yeah, really.
So this really covers a broad spectrum of activity, both on the personal training side, on the psychology side, on the community side, and I guess on the negative side in terms of dealing with drug court type of issues. I mean, the people who fell out of this safety net we're talking about.
But even that, it's not so negative, because you're giving them a chance to come back up and be in a program. Some people don't do well in parole, and our program is great because it allows them to get a more structured environment.
Yeah, which is what they need.
Yeah.
Which is really, in a funny way, in a funny way, that's what we've been talking about for the whole hour.
Yeah.
We're talking about providing the necessary structure in the individual's environment, and by indirection, the community environment too. Well, so that people don't always have that structure. In the 21st century, we're all in a big anthill community. Sometimes, we don't have the structure we need. So you're actually talking nostalgia. You're talking trying to bring back that kind of structure, make people responsible for themselves, give them good guidance. And you can do that on this show we're talking about, eh?
Exactly.
Okay, my question to you, my final question, okay? Why would you want to spend your time doing that on this show?
Why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I? I'm extremely passionate about health and fitness. I love helping people. I think the greatest thing you can do is inspire somebody else, because it's a chain reaction. And when you inspire that
like
person,
a chain letter.
yeah, they they go out and do something that inspires another person, and it keeps going.
Okay, we'll do this. Don't leave town.
Okay.
That's Maile Scarpino. She's a graduate student at Argosy University, and she's doing psychology, but also athletics and bodybuilding and all those things to give you the kind of self-image you need to better cope. And not only that, but to create a community of people who talk to each other and network among each other and encourage each other to better cope. What a healthy thing. What a nice thing. What's the word I'm looking for? A generous thing, a charitable thing, if you will. Here on Community Matters on the Empower Hour, you will see Maile again, I promise. Okay?